Hello everyone. Welcome to the diploma course in the teaching of English. My name is Dr. Ganga Mehto and I am an assistant professor in English at NCRT. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic called learning teaching materials or LTM. Learning teaching materials or LTM are pivotal in making learning interesting and fun. They help learners and teachers understand and explain abstract ideas through easy to understand symbols, objects, working models, or images. They are the tools that empower teachers to convert abstract concepts of textbooks into workable and concrete objects that learners can see and experience. Use of LTM makes the teaching learning process easy, enjoyable, and effective as it promotes the idea of learning by doing, making learning a fun filled activity. Every teacher should know how to prepare valuable, new, and innovative LTMs using low cost or no cost materials and use them in teaching learning processes. And in this, we are going to discuss about the learning teaching materials, especially Realia and others. So, Realia, what is Realia? The real life objects that teachers can use in the classroom as learning teaching materials to improve learners' understanding of the topic or concepts that are generally abstract to explain. It makes the learning experience more enjoyable and memorable for the learners. It provides language learners with multi-sensory impressions of the language through watching, listening, smelling, touching, and manipulating items. So what are the benefits of using Realia in the classroom? Realias provide first-hand or direct experience for the learners. Realias connects vocabulary to real life things. It saves times by showing rather than explaining the objects. It appeals to visual or kinesthetic learners more, and it helps in the retention of concepts learned for a long time. Now, let us talk about some of the examples of Realia. We can have school bag objects like stationeries, books, pencils, erasers, bags, pen, paper, etc. We can also use classroom objects like desk, table, chair, blackboard, picture, chalk, projector, speaker, display board, wall, ceiling fan, etc. We can make use of playground objects like ball, bat, racket, jersey, pole, post, net, ground, etc. We can make use of household objects like cup, glass, plate, soap, boxes, needles, thread, etc. We can use our body parts like hand, hair, eye, nose, ears, mouth, foot, etc. We can also use some small harmless real animals like ant, snail, frog, cockroach, caterpillars, insects, earthworms. In fact, most of these are used by science teachers, geology teachers in the classroom. We can also make use of flowers like rose, hibiscus, tulip, etc. We can make use of wearable items like cap, hat, scarf, shirt, t-shirt, muffler, gloves, jacket, watch, earrings, etc. We can also make use of gadgets like headphones, earphones, tablets, mobiles, radios, voice records, etc. etc. We can make use of some pictures and illustrations like map, chart, graph, drawing, painting, illustrations, etc. We can make use of printed materials like books, magazines, newspapers, recipe books, user manuals, restaurant menus, etc. We can use displays like advertisements, posters, pamphlets, banners, hoardings, notice boards, etc. We can make use of utility forms and bills like applications, letters, reports, resume, job advertisements, forms, ticket reservation forms, electricity bills, etc. We can use real machines or tools like a screwdriver, scale, compass, telephones, etc. We can even use videos like films, documentaries, docudramas, animations, etc. We can make use of audios like music songs, audio documentaries, recorded voices, etc. We can make use of cereals like rice, corn, wheat, peas, pulses, etc. We can make use of fruits and dry fruits like apples, oranges, banana, grapes, nuts, etc. We can use flowers like marigold, jasmine, lily, etc. So the list goes on and on. There are a lot of real life objects that teachers can use in the classroom to explain the concepts or play some games. I'll give an example of a Realia game. In fact, there is a list of activity that can be done using Realia. So one similar activity is called real or Realia activity. How the teacher can play this activity? So the teacher can help the learners sit in circles. So all the learners sit in circles and the teacher places some realia related to the topic in front of them. So every learner has a realia. And now the teacher asks the learners to call out their names followed by the name of the realia. So if I am a learner, I'll say Ganga and pointer. And next, the learner forgets his name and be called by the name of the realia only. So I'll forget my name, I'll not call Ganga, I'll say pointer. And now the teacher asks them to introduce this object as realia now and discuss it with the class. For example, I can say I'm a pointer, I'm used to change the displays, I am operated with the help of a computer. There is a tiny, pointing device also that can be used to point something with a laser light. There are batteries inside that help it to be operated, and likewise. So the learner forget their name and the learner use realia to introduce himself or herself. And this game plays on, and like all the learners in turn introduces himself or herself and then introduce one object that he or she has in front of him. The next game can be identity envelope that can be played with the help of Realia. So what the teacher can do is that the teacher can ask the learners to bring some Realia from homes and the teacher fills an envelope with the Realia brought from the homes. Some of them can be fallen hair, button, scissors, bills, receipts, etc. Now the teacher may ask the learners to create an imaginary crime scene, and these learners are investigators who went to the crime scene, and the realia inside are pieces of evidence of the crime. The learners are divided into smaller groups of 4 or 5 members, having each group, and the learner inspect those objects, those real objects inside the envelope, and decides who they might belong to. For example, if there is a long hair, this might belong to a woman. If the hair is short, this might belong to a male. So on the basis of that, they might assume that the person involved on the spot might be a male or a female. And likewise, analyzing all those objects, if there is a button, they can see whose button this might be, whether this may be a button of a shirt or a button of an overcoat, so what the person might be wearing. So likewise, they should investigate each and every realia, pointing out who might it belong to. The teachers should focus on the target language and the target words, that they should be using the target language, say in this case English, and they should be using the words that are related to those realia. So this can help frame dialogues and have discussion in the classroom. So likewise, the teacher can make use of multiple realia games, and maybe once a week or once a month the teacher can make use of realia and help the learner play games using these realia. In fact, these realia can also be used as vocabulary activities. So in one class, the learners can bring multiple realias and they write the spellings of these realias on the board. And so forth, a lot of games like this can be played. Now, the next learning teaching materials are toys. I'd like to start with a quote of Rabindranath Tagore. He says, "When I bring you colored toys, my child, I understand why there is such play of colors on the clouds, on water, and why flowers are painted in tints. When I give colored toys to you, my child." You know, we love toys. Every one of us has played with toys when we were children. Now, toys can also be used as learning teaching materials. You know, toys have been an integral part of children's activities. They attract and fascinate children not only for their colors, make, design, and size, but also fulfill the need for creative expression, which is a natural thing in every child. Children develop many skills and learn various concepts while playing with toys. For example, making a boat or a cap with paper and playing with puppets provide the children with learning opportunities. Now, the toys will help learners in many ways, not only with physical development but motor development, emotional development, social development, cognitive development, and ethical development. So there are many types of toys that are popular in all parts of the country. We have toys made of clay in Assam, like figures of gods, goddesses, and animals. We have toys of clay in Gujarat with figures of humans and animals. Clay toys in West Bengal are realistic human figures and miniature of village scenes. Like goddesses Durga is very popular in in West Bengal, not as a toy but a popular realistic model of goddess. In Bihar, the herds of elephants or a group of dancers surrounding a particular person is made out of clay. The toys of wood are popular in Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Odisha. The toys made of glass, like in like dolls. The toys of glass are popular in Bihar and Tamil Nadu. Dolls, elephants, hanging toys, sikki glass, hanging toys are also popular in Bihar. The grass mat is very popular in Tamil Nadu. The toys made of fabric or clothes are very popular in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Ladakh, and Manipur. The toran, so our door hangings, dolls, etc., are very popular in Gujarat. In Rajasthan, dolls, stuffed toys, or rag dolls, and puppets are very popular in Rajasthan. In Ladakh, dolls in traditional costumes sitting on a yak is very popular. In Manipur, dolls in dancing postures are very popular. The toys made of seashells, are very popular in coastal states and union territories, like in Kerala, in Goa, and some similar areas. They are mostly animal figures. The toys made of paper are very popular in Delhi, like pinwheel, birds, candlestick toys, etc. The toys made of metal are very popular in Odisha, like the figures inside peacocks, crabs, horses, deer, and other animals of metal. The toys of glass are also popular in Uttar Pradesh, like marble balls, bangles, animal figures, etc. Now, these are some of the toys that are popular in various parts of the country. Now, as teachers, we should be very careful while selecting these toys. So, there should be some criteria for the selection of toys. For selecting a suitable toy or game, the following needs to be kept in mind. The first, the toy or game is safe for child's age, well constructed, and are durable. The second, it is appealing and exciting to the child. The third, it is suitable for the child's physical capabilities. The fourth, hazardous toys should be used under adult supervision only, under teacher supervision only. The next, the toy should not have any shock or heat hazards like electric toys, etc., should not be used or used under strict supervision of the teachers. The next, it should not have sharp or pointy edges that can harm the children. The next, it should be made of non hazardous materials. These can be checked for the standard practices of labeling art materials and chronic health hazards. The next, for street or outdoor games to be used for pedagogy, the teachers and parents and children's safety must be ensured. Now I'll try to discuss one particular toy that English teachers can use as learning teaching materials. This is called puppets. Puppets are very popular toys that teachers can use to teach storytelling or similar techniques. The puppets that can be created, easily are called glove puppets or hand puppets. In fact, I have one in front of me. So this rabbit is kind of a glove puppet. So what you have to do is that you can insert your hand like this, and your fingers can control it. So this moves with your hand. So this is an easy to use hand puppet. In fact, you can use shocks, the used shocks, and create it as hand puppets. How you can do that? You can use shocks. You can cut it for mouthpiece. You can use two buttons as eyes, maybe one for nose. You can use some woolen cut pieces as hair, and you are all set to use it as a hand puppet. And this opening will work as mouthpiece for hand puppet, something like this. Now this can be also made use of paper. So this is made use of papers. Here you can insert your fingers on top and bottom, and this can use as a tortoise, a talking tortoise. So on one side you can have a rabbit. You can insert your hand in that, and you can have the talking rabbit here, and on the other side you can have the tortoise. And there you go. For younger classes, you can have the race between rabbit and tortoise, and the whole dialogues that can be used in the story using the rabbit and tortoise can be depicted using this toy. So very easy to be made. The teachers can make use of these toys in the classroom situations. Now, the other types of puppets that we have are string puppets. These string puppets are mostly hanging from top using threads, and the teachers can control them using fingers. Then there are rod puppets. You use rods to control these puppets. And then in some part of the country, mostly in South India, Karnataka and some areas, shadow puppets are very popular. So in shadow puppets, you have light coming from the back, and a white screen is there. And with the play of lights, you use non-transparent objects to tell a story. So shadow puppets are very popular. Hence, these puppets can be very useful in English class where you want to tell a story. A story of any kind can be depicted through these different kinds of puppets, either a string puppet or a rod puppet or a shadow puppet, or very easy to use glove puppets. So try it out and you'll feel the difference, how good the children feel in the class when you use these puppets inside the classroom. Now let us move forward and talk about working models as learning teaching materials. As model represents an idea, object, event, process, or a system. They are replicas of the actual items. Though models are primarily used in science, geography, and mathematics classes, they're also equally important in teaching abstract concepts in English classrooms as well. They have three-dimensional effect on the learner's mind. We may use clay, paper, plaster, and different colors to make good working models of different objects. So what are some of the advantages of using working models in the classroom? The first is it gives a real learning experience to the learners. Second, it is less expensive and we do not need to build expensive prototypes. The third, there is no damage to the real objects, like the real life animals or any other objects. The fourth is it is less dangerous as models are made learner friendly. The fifth, it is easy to make modifications to make it work better. There are many types of models. Let us talk about some 3 or 4 types of models. The first one is model of really available or accessible objects. These models represent the animals, plants, and other products of nature, objects that children can see, such as models of an earthworm, ant, flower, etc. We should try to create the models in the same size as real objects. We can modify the model size if the real object is too small, like an ant, or too big, like an elephant, to a manageable size that we can use in the classroom. Toys are also models if they look similar to real objects. The second, models of unavailable or inaccessible objects. These models represent the objects, animals, or plants that cannot be accessed in real life for many reasons. For example, the real honeycomb may be dangerous for the learners. In such cases, a model should be used to discuss the concept. The third is the models of abstract ideas or concepts. There are objects or ideas or concepts that cannot easily be explained to the learners. They are the symbols that concretize abstract ideas. So these models are the models of abstract ideas or concepts. I'd like to discuss one working model here that can be used in a vocabulary class for classes 5, 6, etc. to teach suffix, attached to the root words, suffixes. We can call this as suffix suite. The subject in which it can be used is a language subject, Hindi or English. The topic is suffix. The class in which it can be used is classes 5th to 6, 7, 8. The learning outcomes may be learners will be able to define suffix, add suffixes to words, to root words, and create new words. What are the materials required to make it? Medium size boxes or round boxes, maybe a box like this, origami papers, sketch pens, etc. Now, how to make use of this? First thing is that take this kind of box that can be easily discarded, a box of talcum powder or something that is available in our home, and we throw them out after use. It has 2 parts. One is the fixed part and the other is rotating part. So on the fixed part we can cut origami paper, and on the fixed part we can write root words. Maybe we can have a green paper on this, and on the green paper we can write 5 root words and can paste it around this. A similar origami paper with more root words. Every paper might have 5 root words. We can create 10 papers like that. That will make it 10 into 5. 50 root words can be written, can be easily replaced. On this rotating part, we can paste out suffixes. So here you have the root word. We can paste suffixes on that. For example, if we have words like week, we'll write the words week as fixed root word here, and full or ly as suffix. So we can use words like weak, care, child, slow, etc. as root words, and we can use suffixes like ly, less, ish, ly, on these rotating heads, and we can ask learners to match the root words with the suffixes. So the child will match weak with ly suffix, care with careless, less suffix, child with is suffix, making words weakly, careless, or childish from the root words weak, care, and child. So this way the teachers can help learners play this vocabulary game using root words and suffixes on discarded piece of paper. They can keep on changing the root word origami papers and suffix rotating origami paper, and that way all the learners can make use of that. In fact, we can ask learners to bring these discarded this discarded products from their home and we can supply papers to them, and they can create these kind of multiple copies of similar working models in the classroom itself, and they'll be engaging themselves with these words, thereby retaining the vocabulary for a longer time. There is a handbook developed by NCRT. I have edited that book. It is called Handbook of No Cost and Low Cost Learning Teaching Materials. You can go further and read about 100 learning teaching materials that we have discussed in this handbook. Thank you very much. With this, we have come to the end of the discussion of the topic. Thank you very much. Best wishes. Namaskar.